Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Economics lecture number 2, and the topic is Price Elasticity of Demand by Ms. Rabia Munir. In the last lecture, we learned that price elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of the demand of a product by the change in price. That means increase of price, how much will be the demand changing, and if the price is decreased by the producer, how much will the demand of that product change, increase or decrease. Today we are going to learn what determines price elasticity of demand. Number 1, if the product is a necessity, that means that the demand for products that are necessities is usually more price inelastic than the demand for products that satisfy consumer wants. Now, for example, if one brand of bread that is a necessity increases its price, what will you do? You will immediately switch to another brand because it's a necessity and we have to have bread in breakfast. We are going to switch to the competitor. So if the product is a necessity, again examples of bread, food items, petrol, electricity, all these things are price inelastic because they are all necessities. Second number, the number of close substitute of a product. If a product has very close substitute like Dawn bread or Morning Fresh or the bread from a bakery, because there are so many substitutes for this product, the product might be price inelastic to demand, because if the price of one brand changes, the consumer is going to quickly switch to the other brand. So the demand of that product will fall. That means if a product that has close substitutes, its price is increased, then the demand of that product will fall. This means that the product is price elastic to demand. The amount of time consumers have to search for substitutes. If the price of a product rises, consumers will search for cheaper substitutes. The longer they have, the more likely they are to find. For example, large screen televisions are expensive items and not a necessity. So consumers can afford to spend some time looking around for the best products at the best prices. So demand will be therefore price elastic in the longer run, because people will not going to wait that the price will fall. They are going to look for other substitutes, and if the product is not a necessity, the demand of that product will fall if the price is increased by the producer. Point number 4, the cost of switching to a different supplier. That means if the alternate supplier can be expensive, even their products are cheaper, if it means breaking a contract with your existing supplier. This is because some products such as telephone and broadband services, electricity, car insurance and satellite television services are usually only supplied to consumers who have agreed to long supply contracts. These contracts will lock consumers into an agreement with a particular supplier for a period of 12 or 18 months or possibly longer, and usually at a fixed price per month or per unit supplied. Consumers may have to pay a fee to be released early from these contracts. So they may also need to purchase different equipment, for example, a new wireless router or a new satellite receiver to use the service of another supplier. So if the cost of switching to the other supplier of a service or a good is higher, then people remain, the demand of that product is not going to change if even the price is risen by the producer. Number 5, the proportion of a consumer's income spent on a product. Goods such as matches or newspaper may be price inelastic in demand as they do not cost very much, and any rise in their price will only require a tiny bit more of a person's income. But if the price of cars was to rise by 10%, this could mean paying extra $1,000 or more for a car. This is a considerably proportion of a person's income. So demand for cars and other expensive items is therefore more likely to be price elastic. And if the prices of the car are raised, then the demand is going to fall. That means they are price elastic to demand. PD and total spending on a product and revenues. Now, what is the importance of PD and why should the producers calculate price elasticity of demand for their products? This is because it is important for the producer to know that if the demand of the product is price elastic, will the consumer spend less on the product as its price is increased, because they will switch their demand to cheaper alternatives. Secondly, firms selling the product will therefore lose revenue following an increase in price. That means even if I'm increasing the price from suppose $10 to $15, there is only a rise of $5, but the demand is decreasing by 50% or more than 50%, then what is going to happen? That even my price has increased, my revenues are not going to increase. Are you understanding? Because the number of items sold will be less. let's learn this concept with an example on page 74 given in your books of Viso chocolate bars. And it's a very interesting concept to see that if the prices are increased and the product is price elastic, what is going to happen to my revenue? Okay, so looking at the example, we see that initially the price was $1 and the price was risen by from $1 to $1.1. That is only 0.1 rise in the price. Whereas in week 1, we see that when the price was $1, the total sales were 2,000, and if we calculate the total revenue for that price, we can see that $1 multiplied by 2,000 will give me $2,000 as revenue. But when the price was increased to $1.1, the total sales decreased from 2,000 to 1,600. That means that quantity demanded fell by 20%. Now, if we calculate the PED of this, it is going to come out to be 2 as done in the example. We can see that the total revenue also fell from 2,000 to 1,760, although the price was raised by 10%, but we can see that the revenues fell. So the Viso chocolate bars producer might consider his decision of increasing the price of his or her chocolate because there was a loss in the number of chocolate bars sold. The revenue decreased although the prices were increased. Understood? Next, in the second example, same chocolate bars, the prices were decreased by 10%, and now let's see what happens to the total sales. The demand schedule of these chocolates tell us that if we decrease the price, that is from $1, if we decrease the price to $0.9, we see that the total sales increased from 2,000 units or chocolates bars to 2,400 chocolate bars. That means 400 chocolate bars were sold more because of that price decrease. Total revenue from the first sale when it was $1 was 2,000, and the revenue when the prices were decreased came out to be $2,160. That is, there was a profit rise in the profit by $160, and the number of chocolate bars was also increased. Now, here we can see that again the PED is 2. That means this product is price elastic to its demand. And we can see that if a product is price elastic to demand or it's elastic to demand, then the producers should increase revenues by decreasing the price rather than increasing the prices. Understood? Now let's look at another example. Last Chance Garage on page number 75. In this example, the pricing strategy of the company or the garage owner is 10% increase in price by 10%. Now the situation is like that. If you read the case given along with it, there is that this garage is near a highway, a motorway, and there is no other petrol station or gas station in 20 miles of the radius of this garage. That means if you get onto the motorway, then you will not find a petrol station on that highway. So drivers usually visit this garage to refuel their cars before hitting the road. Now, what has happened is that because this product becomes the demand for petrol is price inelastic, let's see what will happen if the pricing strategy of this garage owner is to increase the price. First, the price was $1.5 per liter, and then it was raised by 10% and it became $1.65. And we see that first he was selling 500 liters per day, but when he increased the price, there was only a slight change in the number of sales or the demand, that is 490 liters were sold per day. That means this decrease in the demand was by 10 liters. Now let's see the revenue. If we see the revenue when the price was 1.50, we can see 1.50 multiplied by 500 gives out to be $750. Whereas if we come to when the prices were increased, we see that the revenue has come out to be $808.50. That means there's a rise in $58.5 even by increasing the price. Now, when we calculate the price elasticity of demand of this product, we can see that the price elasticity of demand is less than 1, that is 0.2, and we can say that the demand of petrol is inelastic. So if the product has price inelastic demand, then even if we increase the prices, our revenues are not going to fall. Now looking at this activity 2.18 in your books on page number 75, I'm going to discuss this activity here, but you are going to do this as an assignment on Google Classrooms when it's uploaded on the classroom. Let's see what you have to do here. What happens to the total revenue? Now there is a product, a loaf and bread loaves, and its schedule is given, and then there are airline tickets and a demand schedule for that is given. You are going to do exactly what is being done in the example which we just did about the garage and Visa chocolate bars. But in both the cases, we can see that in the first case the price was decreased, and in case of the airline tickets the prices were also decreased. But we have to see which of them is price elastic to demand and which of them is price inelastic to demand. So first of all, you are going to calculate the price elasticity of demand for both these demand schedule and both these products, and then you are going to find the revenues at each price, just as it is given in the previous example, and then you are going to tell me how much revenue has increased or how much revenue has increased in which case. Okay, so your questions which you have to answer are given on the next page 76, and these are all the questions that you are going to answer in the assignment. I will give the reference of the pages and the assignment on Google Classrooms. So as I just told you that how price elasticity of demand concept can be useful for the producers, it's just a review of all the information we just learned during solving the examples. Number 1, the knowledge of the price elasticity of demand allows firms to optimize their pricing and promotional strategies for their products to best achieve their sales, revenues or profit targets. That means if I know that my product is price elastic or inelastic, I will plan my pricing and promotional strategies accordingly. That means if my price is elastic to demand, I am going to decrease the price, give a promotional discount and increase my revenue. And if the demand is price inelastic, I am going to increase the price and I am going to increase my revenue. So the strategies are going to change depending by knowing with the knowledge of what my product's elasticity is. Coming to the next point, that is, in contrast, if the demand of the product is price elastic, as I just say, because it has a close substitute, consumers will switch to their demand to cheaper alternatives, as we studied in the determinants of PD. In contrast, a firm that supplies a product which has few competitors and for which consumer demand is price inelastic will be able to increase its revenues by raising its prices, like I just said. Similarly, the knowledge of PED or price elasticity of demand for different products will be useful for the government seeking to use taxes to raise public revenue or to dissuade or discourage consumers from buying harmful products. That is, if the government knows that the demand of a product, a harmful product like a cigarette or alcohol, is price elastic to demand, what are they going to do? They are going to impose tax on that product, and as soon as the price will rise, the demand is going to fall. So this is how the government can also use the knowledge of PD and make it useful for its people. Your homework is to read pages 68 and 78 till 78, and you will complete the assignment that will be given to you on Google Classrooms. Thank you. For any queries, you can always write to me on the email or chat or the Google session, Meet session, which we will have next week. Thank you.